Hello and welcome to this week's episode of DADA'S show, coming to you from Best Western Hotel Upper Hill here in Nairobi. I'm your host, Ashiko Mbone. The DADA'S show aspires to promote a spirit of sisterhood and solidarity amongst Kenyan women. And we do this by creating an open and a safe platform for women to discuss issues affecting them, be it their work, be it their lifestyle, be it their health, anything that is attending to a woman's life, we discuss it here on this particular platform. Now, on today's episode, we will continue a conversation that has caused a need for concern across country members. This is the rise in the cases of teenage pregnancy. We had the pleasure of hosting two non-governmental organizations in a previous episode. These are people who have taken it upon themselves not only to create awareness, but to also educate girls on sexual reproductive health. And of course, they protect also the vulnerable girls in society. However, they are not the only ones joining in this particular fight. Honorable Doris Donye Aburi, who is a women representative in Kisii County, has also expressed deep concern in the rising cases of teen pregnancies, especially in her county, and is currently sponsoring a bill that is seeking to boost the fight against gender-based violence and female genital mutilation, FGM, which she considers a key driver to teen pregnancies. She will tell us a little bit more about this bill and the strides that she and the government are taking and intend to take in the fight against teen pregnancies. As always, we encourage you at home to take part in this and any other conversation that we may have by communicating with us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. You can also reach me across all social media platforms at Ashiko the host. Now, before we jump into today's conversation, let's take a look at the following feature.
The World Health Organization notes that 21 million adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 years and 2.5 million others under the age of 16 years get pregnant annually across the world. The numbers are usually influenced by the financial background of the parents, with most of the teenagers who are pregnant coming from low-middle-income households. In Kenya, the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey of 2022 Key Indicators report released by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics revealed that Kenya is making progress in reducing the national prevalence of FGM, teenage pregnancy, and gender-based violence. Wide variation, however, still exists according to wealth, geographical location, and education. Teenage pregnancy is not new in Kenya. Roughly 13,000 young girls drop out of school each year to have children. Teenage moms empowerment was established after seeing a need for safe spaces for teenage pregnancy surge to provide special services for expecting students' mothers. These students benefit from in-house therapists who provide counsel to the new mothers while they receive a state-certified education.
An organization that empowers teenage mothers with vocational skills. Our target group is this drop out of school girls, the ones who got pregnant, dropped out of school. And then our age group, the youngest right now we have is 16 and the oldest is 24. 24, if she got a child at 15, the consequences of teenage motherhood is still following her. And if she doesn't have anything to do, we still take them in. But our preferable age is 16 to 21. So we train them, like this year we've been training them on beauty, that is how to do makeup, manicure and pedicure. And of course next month we are opening a parlor for them where they can intern.
Many of these teen mothers have been subjected to stigma, rejection, or violence by partners, parents, and peers.
So first I would say the government, the community, and even the society at large is not doing enough to create a space for teenage mothers. Come to school where the government is more involved. There is no space, safe space. If a girl gets pregnant, everyone is teasing her. They can't even go talk to the teacher. Unajua, the teacher is already stressed na mambo yake, then where does this girl run to? If you go to the government, the chiefs and all that, they're not involved. So the root causes of teenage pregnancy, I would start with that lack of information. If you walk to a school and talk to a child about reproductive health, right now, because we have social media, we think it's out there. Children are not on phones most of the time. And if they're on phones, they're on TikTok watching something else. They will not be responsible of their own their life. They are children. But if we fed our children information about reproductive health, we would reduce the teenage pregnancy. That is number one. Number two, there's a lot of ignorance between parents and children. Ignorance. They have information, but because the information is not repeated again and again, there's a lot of ignorance.
Jerry Kabiru runs a center where she accommodates teen mothers.
So our training ends up not just the training, but we are opening a parlor for them so that they can keep on practicing what they've been doing. And also the reason why we are opening a parlor is that they don't go back home. You know, they gain skill with even other project, other organization, but they didn't have capital to start whatever skill or to capital to put their skill into practice.
Young girls have been able to overcome the shame and the stereotype of teenage pregnancy and can now face the world boldly.
In 2021, especially in 2021, we sent 5 girls back to school. One is actually now she's going to sit for her exam next year. She's in St. Anne's Ryoki. And she's our success story because she did class 8, she had 368 marks and a 2-week-old baby. And in everywhere she knocked the door, people would turn her down because she has a child. And I remember writing this story and getting someone who will pay her school fees until university. She's doing well, she has a chance. We placed a child with the uncle, and then the community health worker who we work with makes sure the girl has whatever she needs. And then for us, it's just the work of supplying just whatever she needs on top. That's a success story. We have another girl who is doing class 8 this year. She got a child at 14 raped by the uncle. Actually, for me, I've been given the rights to be the mother right now because then she didn't have anyone. We tried taking her back to the family when the child died. So we tried reconciling the family and they didn't want her back because, you know, family member rape, it doesn't work. And for us, we just come in, create a safe space because that girl has a future. She has a future just like any other girl.
The Kenyan government implemented the education re-entry policy for girls after teenage pregnancy as early as 1994. The policy was established to guarantee that teen mothers could re-enroll and complete their studies free of stigma. However, the policy has received low parental involvement and support, little awareness of the policy among key stakeholders, including teachers, school administrators, guardians, and teen mothers. On female genital mutilation, the survey report shows that the prevalence of FGM has been on a steady decline in the country. According to the recently released Demographic and Health Survey data for 2022, the FGM prevalence is 15% in the country, meaning that 15% of girls and women aged 15 to 49 years have undergone the cuts. Traditionally, FGM was conducted as a physically certificate of transformation from a young girl to an adult ready to be married. Despite the efforts put in place by governments, organizations, and individuals in combating and fighting against FGM through legislation and education, the Kisii community has shifted from traditional way of practicing FGM to medical way. Besides being internationally recognized as a human rights violation, FGM has been performed on at least 200 million girls and women in 31 countries across the sub-Saharan Africa, the Arab states, and selected countries in Asia.
Welcome back. As mentioned, our topic of discussion today is the rise in teenage pregnancies. This is the second part of this show where we had another part where we interacted with non-governmental organizations. Today, we have a legislator, of course, by name of Doris Donya Abure, the Honorable, who is the Kisii County Women Representative. Karibu sana mheshimiwa, and we are so honored that you could take time off your very busy schedule to join us on this panel as we discuss our discussion, as we have our discussion today. Of course, I'd like to acknowledge my wonderful audience who week in, week out, make time to come and sit with me as we tackle some very contentious issues affecting the women of Nairobi. Now, to just get us started, I'll jump on to the first question for you, Mheshimiwa. So, according to research, the drivers of teenage pregnancy a lack of education, especially sexual and reproductive health, poverty, harmful cultural practices such as child marriages and FGM, etc. And you have pointed out that FGM, according to you, is a lead factor to teen pregnancies. Kindly elaborate the connection between FGM and teen pregnancies.
Oh, thank you very much. Greetings from Kisii County. I'm honored to be here and happy to discuss about this topic, which is so dear to my heart. When you come to Kisii County or happen to visit our main facility, which is Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital, you will realize that teen pregnancy cases range between 60 to 65, which is alarming. Our young girls are having more sex than the married cadre. Reason, being born and bred in Kisii, FGM is a gate pass to womanhood. Yes. Girls are always told by their aunties or their mothers, we are performing this act so that you are now a woman. That is how you are confirmed to womanhood. So immediately they are circumcised, they will engage in early sex. That is why more girls are pregnant than the mothers, because they've been told you have now graduated from childhood to adulthood. This thing of FGM didn't start yesterday. Initially we had the traditional excisors who used to perform the act. Then during the Mwai Kibaki time, the chiefs were told to be the administrators to check around on the traditional excisors, and maybe they can be taken into court, or they can be answerable of why they have those cases in their villages. Yes. So the chiefs went around, they told the mamas, you have to stop this act, and it stopped. Wait until when we had now the medics. They came, they convinced our mothers that, oh, it is not done traditional now. Yes. No one is going to die. I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse. I will do it perfect, and there's nothing that you should be worried about. Now it is medicalized. I was shocked to learn that as per today, we are at 83%. That is in Kisii. Not forgetting the Somalis who are at 98%. We are at 83%. Because it is medicalized. Now it is more than it was before.
Yes. And so, of course, you're talking about 83% of the population of the young girls have already been circumcised. They've already undergone female genital mutilations. And the moment that happens, they've been told, now
that
you
is
can
a gate
go.
Pass
That's
to
the
womanhood.
gate pass.
Yeah.
And when we are talking about the initiates, so what age group are we looking at?
We are looking at 6 to 12 years or 11.
Wow. So we are going to Kisii Referral Hospital, and you're finding an 11-year-old pregnant, or maybe 11
from
all the
11
way
to
upwards.
16. 11 to 16, not even 11 to 24.
Yeah.
11 to 16.
Yeah.
Teen mothers.
Wow.
We are not forgetting that apart from being a mother, you can also contract STIs.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not something that we should celebrate about. We must talk about it, to make it a conversation, so that our children know. Information is power.
Yeah.
When we are told early, I went to the US, when kids go to school, the first thing they are told is, you are right as a child. You can imagine. Report your parents if they behave in this particular manner. You go to the US as a woman, you are given a whole booklet. You written your rights as a woman. They don't entertain GBV. In fact, if you cough and say, last night my husband came home with red eyes, they suspect maybe you want to perform some violent act.
Yeah.
That alone, it's not even something that you can discuss. They train their children, they train the women, the men. That's why they are far ahead of us. So this whole conversation of GBV, FGM should be dealt with, because the more cases of teen pregnancy are cases of female genital mutilation in our village.
Okay.
No, in our county.
In the county. So you've touched a little bit about the training and the education. So there was a current discussion, especially in Parliament, I think most recently, in regards to teaching on
Comprehensive
contraception.
health,
Yes, in the schools, because currently I think they only skate through it. What's your take on that?
I support sex education. You see, when women sit and discuss, there are those who will judge us. Why always women discussing about sex? Donya seated here, we have our first food, which is the cooked one. Sex is our second food. I'm never shy of discussing issues to do with sex and contraceptives. Why? If you became pregnant, most parents will ask you, choose between going back to school or being a mother. What is that parent trying to tell you? That are you ready to undergo abortion? So is it right to discuss abortion or contraceptive? You would rather use contraceptives than practice abortion.
Yeah.
Abortion is more dangerous than the use of contraceptives.
Yeah.
But when we teach about comprehensive health education, is because we want to tell them about abstaining. If you've not done it, please don't till you understand the pros and cons of engaging in early sex. And okay, let's not forget that those who've already engaged in sex,
Yes.
what are you supposed to do? Please don't have multiple partners. If you have to do it, let it be with one partner, because you are already doing it.
You're already
Let's
doing
not pretend that you are not doing it.
Yeah.
And at these rates, 10-year-old to 15-year-old, they are very active in sex. So they have to be told of the pros and cons of engaging in early sex. Please abstain. Okay, if you are not ready to abstain, because when you make the youth sit, you want to tell them anything about, maybe even if it's diseases, you want to tell them about teen pregnancy, the first thing they'll tell you, nini unatuambia hatujui. That's what they'll tell you. So they already know. Keep on pressing. Let them know. Don't shy off. If it's a father and you don't know how to talk to your kids, first even start by buying them a gift of an underwear and innerwear. Then the girls will be like, oh, dad bought me this. You are starting that conversation.
Yes.
Because you are not going to cook the underwear. You are definitely going to wear it. So the conversation will start.
Yeah.
These girls will be free to their fathers.
Yeah.
And that is how we can have this thing brought up. Comprehensive sex education, I support.
Yes. So I like the fact that you're taking ownership and you're saying, you know what, I support this particular motion that has been passed. And speaking of motions, you're sponsored a bill.
Actually, I have a bill.
You have a bill. Congratulations. You have a bill that is seeking to boost the fight against GBV, which is something that you're very, very passionate about, which of course includes FGM. So tell us a little bit more about what this bill entails.
If you remember way back 2006, we had the Njoki sexual offences bill.
Yes.
Now I want to have it amended. I'm asking the Ministry of Education to partner with the Ministry of Interior so that we can have awareness of what is FGM. Because there are those who are like, what is wrong with FGM? It's just cutting that small part. We don't even want anybody to say that cutting that small part. We want FGM to be rendered illegal.
Yes.
So I want the awareness to be done on FGM, teen pregnancy, gender-based violence. If you've not realized in the past, there are several cases of the police officer maybe shot himself and shot the wife. The man killed himself and killed the wife and children. So I want the community to understand all these things, ranging from teen pregnancy, FGM, GBV. Mental health is real.
Yes.
Mental health is real. Use of drugs. There's a time I was in Kisii, a school called Keroka Primary. Then one teacher came and told me, Mama County, we are killing our generation. Move back streets, that is in Keroka town. They are selling bangi to small children. These ones who are seated there, they sniff and then they come to school.
Oh dear.
You need to do something about this. So we need to the core issue is to have the awareness part where you are told of your rights as a child. You are taught of teen pregnancy. You are taught of the diseases, HIV and AIDS. Currently, it's at its peak. Teen pregnancy, you saw the results that came from Homa Bay,
Yes.
Kisii County, Narok, and Kilifi.
Yeah.
All those things necessitated me to make this bill, and it is flowing very well. The finance committee has already promised to support. I'm targeting like 300 million every year to make it public awareness year.
Yes.
From schools, media houses, they can come in. So when you see that coming on board, please know that we want to perfect on this thing of teen pregnancy, because women are the vanguard of social change in our societies.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. So our next question is, so we've already talked about the bill, which congratulations. I'm really, really excited to see you roll out. And of course, Dada's show would be more than happy to work hand in hand as we delve into issues that affect women. Now, aside from the bill, what strides is the government taking or intends to take in regards to teen pregnancy?
Having the Ministry of Gender in itself speaks volume, because that is where all these issues are deliberated. We have UNICEF, UN Women, they deal with FGM. While we are talking of UN Women, they could not be dealing with such issues if they were not permitted by the government to do it. And also when we talk of these issues before the floor of the House, that shows that the government is doing something about it. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's excellent. Especially when, it's a multi-industry approach, multi-government approach.
Yeah, we even have the anti-FGM board.
Yes.
The gender department, the minister in charge is Aisha Juma. She has even promised she will be coming over to Kisii so that we can deliberate on these issues. So you see, it is something that the government is okay with it, and they've actually felt the weight. We are not doing as a country when it comes to these cultural activities which have no health benefit to our society.
Absolutely. Now, in your opinion, charity begins at home. And I like the fact that you've mentioned when we go back home. Like the same way, you're not dealing with teen pregnancies and FGM on a country basis. You're back home, the people who voted you in. Where do you feel like society is dropping the ball? And where is society dropping the ball, and where does society need to step up? Here we are talking about the educators, we're talking about the parents, we're talking about the guardians. Where do you feel like they need to step up?
I'm happy in Kisii. Most of the Kisii people, the Kisii community, are SDS, and they are taught. They are actually taught even how you remain. You keep your virginity, your purity till you get married. They are taught. So the SDA church is good in doing it.
Yes.
I forgot to tell you that I was a media person. I worked for 13 years. And while I worked at Royal Media Services, they have a vernacular radio station by the name of FM. Each day, in fact, before I could start my show, I would tell women, please take care of our girls. Don't circumcise them. tell them to put their legs together, because if you close your legs, nothing will come in and
Yeah.
you'll be safe.
Yeah.
As much as some would say, no, you are not being fair, you should not say those things. What are the things? Is sex something that you cannot talk about? If you are in the US and you are going to hospital, for example, and you have some pain in your private part, if you are a lady, you will tell the doctor, I was scratching my vagina, there are some rashes. That's what you will say, right?
Yeah.
But if you are in Kenya, what will you tell the doctor? Can I write something? Can I
Yeah.
explain what is happening to me?
You'll
We are
use
not ready to
codes.
start the, we are not ready to start this
To start
conversation.
asking
Please,
conversation.
before even, sometimes I say, take yourself in a room, lock yourself, and put it in vernacular, sex education in vernacular. When you feel you are not sure of it,
Yes.
you're good to go.
Yeah.
Sex education in your vernacular.
Ooh.
That is now when the
people
conversation,
can, you know,
yeah,
because
we are shy.
everything
Yeah.
sounds very, very
Yeah.
politically correct
Yeah.
when it's in English and Swahili.
Yeah,
But
seem
when
to-
you
but
throw
go
in
to
some
vernacular,
language,
yeah. But we
It'll
need
make
to
you
have that
blush.
discussion.
Yeah.
We need to talk about it.
we really
The
do.
church, the chiefs, police, the Ministry of Interior, Kindiki, he can talk to the chiefs. In fact, they are the best people to curb this menace.
Absolutely, yeah.
If he talks to the chiefs, they report those cases, we will be somewhere. We'll
Yeah.
be somewhere.
I agree with you completely, Mheshimiwa. Now, finally, before we go on a break, if there's someone at home who's watching, and of course, like you've said, the whole medicalizing, I don't know if that's an appropriate word, of FGM, which of course is the gateway to teen pregnancies in Kisii County. If there's somebody at this particular moment who is watching and she's being forced to get into it, what is the appropriate channel for her to get help? She's watching somewhere in Keroka.
As I've said, FGM has no health benefit, parents. You can have that perception that police officers don't help. Don't lose hope.
Yeah.
Try to report to the nearest police station.
Yes.
I've made it available for anyone to access my office, be it I'm there or not. They can always report these cases. When I go to Kisii, for example, which I do twice a month, I always take the reporting book. Those cases that seem difficult, I report to the commissioner. I'm in good contact with the Kisii commissioner, Mr. Njera.
Yeah.
So report, don't keep quiet, don't shy off. Like there's a parent who came to my office and she was telling me, Donya, what do? I asked her, what's the problem? My child was defiled. I went to report to a police station. Then I was asked, what time was it? I said it was around 7 p.m. Then the police officer told me, you see, that is the reason why your child was defiled. Why did you keep your child late at 7? And she had gone to the grocery.
Oh,
so
dear.
we should never justify defilement that you are wearing a short skirt.
Yes.
That's why you are defiled, or you are walking in the company of men. No, defilement is defilement.
True.
It should not be tolerated. So they report, and then there is a direct line
Yes.
that Red Cross has, which is 0800 720 577. That is Red Cross, 0800 720 577. Then we have Gender Violence Recovery Center at Nairobi Women's Hospital. They have this direct line, 0800 720 565. Then we should thank our government. We have enough children officers allocated around across the country.
Yes.
You can always access those offices and lodge a complaint. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. We're going to take a short break, and remember the numbers that were shared were in case you need the assistance. The Red Cross number and the GVRC number are going to be shared on the social media platforms, and of course you can find them if you whenever you access the portal, the Red Cross portal or the GVRC portal online. So we'll take a short break, and then we will be back for the question and answer session. Don't go far away.
From where I stand, I don't think I've had any benefit where FGM has benefited the women. So I'm against the FGM because from the surveys that have been done, it has more harm than good to the women. And I think even being a man, I'm against it. I'm not sure the women folk will follow me also and say they don't like it.
Mtoto akishashika mimba, wazazi, ni jukumu la mzazi kumpa, hata kama utakasirika, mpe mawaidha ya kumwonesha kuna maisha baada ya kuzaa.
Welcome back to the second part of Dada's show. This is a part that I personally love because our audience gets to interact with, of course, Mheshimiwa and ask questions that they have been pondering on as we're having our discussion. Remember, our discussion of the day is the rise in the cases of teenage pregnancies, part 2. We previously had the part 1 where we interacted with non-governmental organizations, and here we are interacting with the government. What strides are being taken, you know, in terms of preventing and of course curbing this menace to society? As usual, you can always contact us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 or my personal social media at Ashiko the host. I look forward to hearing from you. So to start us off on this question and answer session, we begin with Tamara.
My question to you is, what is the government doing, or the people who are concerned with such issues doing, to keep these young girls busy?
Oh, thank you, Tamara. Oh, we have TVETs, which our youths are very reluctant in enrolling. If you saw the papers today, the Ministry of Education was saying that out of the 800,000 who had direct entry to universities, we found out that we have about 300 who didn't apply, something of the sort. We have youth generation, let me call it a TikTok generation, which needs to be pushed, because with TVETs and other institutions which offer vocational trainings, our youths must be, they must try enroll. Apart from that, Tamara, you have graduates who wait for white-collar jobs. They've been taught at school on agriculture, more especially when you go to Kenyatta University. Is it
Yes.
Kenyatta University? You are taught on even how you can grow carrots, sukuma wiki, but you are just reluctant. You're waiting for the white-collar jobs. Even before the government comes for you, what have you done as an individual? Do you know who you are? Do you understand yourself, your origin, your roots, and everything? So with the introduction of TVETs, I can say the government is committed to make sure that the youths are busy. Even members of parliament do have tournaments. But how many people turn out for those tournaments, bearing the fact that footballers are the most lucrative, they earn well. So let's make use of the TVETs. Like Donya from Kisii County, in my office, I sponsor orphans. When you start moving around to get the orphans enrolled in these courses, some will tell you, when we had the NYS, they have a lot of work. I don't want. So the government is trying to reach out, and the youth, please also make sure that you make yourself busy and you make use of those opportunities that come.
Well, so Mheshimiwa, you're saying the opportunities are there. It is just for the youth to actually be able to get out of their comfort zone and capture them, and of course the parents, because of course we have to also address the parents, parents to also push the young ladies and the young gentlemen into things to keep them busy.
You have, for example, we've given the direct line. You are supposed to report. There are some parents who say, because my daughter was defiled by the uncle, I'm not going to report. That will be bringing shame to our village.
Oh dear.
So there are things that we need to do, to take up on ourselves, and also, of course, the government has a bigger role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Tamara, I hope your question is answered. So our next question is from Debbie. Debbie, karibu sana.
So my inquiry from you today is, what is the action that is being taken onto the boy child for defiling a minor? Because most of the times when defilement occurs, the bad story, the bad picture is always portrayed on the girl child because they're deprived of their school. They just have to get home, take care of the kid. So the life never goes back to normal. But then for the boy child, they just have everything at hand. Everything is just going on well. So what is your take on that?
Thank you very much, Debbie. The Sexual Offences Act 2006 by Njokindungu had all those things stipulated. If you defile the minor, how long you will be imprisoned. Actually, it was life imprisonment. Then came the churches. People started saying that, oh, it's not right for someone to be life in prison, or to maybe if it is the act of rape, to be in prison for 15 years. It was a whole debate. Then before the debate proceeded, they had to have some mitigation measures on the same from proceeding. That's when we started having the girls now being taught about the effects of teen pregnancies, or when you've been raped, what needs to be done. And presently, as we speak, everybody's like, why all that attention to the girl child, not forgetting the boy child? They are forgetting that is how it started. Previously, they felt when the girl drops out of school, the boy enjoys with his education. Then we now need to concentrate on the girl. What the girl needs to do, what the government needs to do to these, some call them second, when you are given a second chance. So I can say that much has not been done on the punishment, but there is more awareness of what a girl needs to do and what a boy needs not to do.
In Kenya, we have seen that happen in multiple occasions where there will be cases of victim shaming, and now I think it's perpetrator sympathy and victim shaming.
I think as a government, we've even failed. See those people who've been maybe, who have engaged in corruption,
Yes.
they're being pardoned, all these things. Our judicial system, they have work to do.
They have work
They
to
have
do.
work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, and I think it's actually it's a point of concern, as in from where I sit. If we do not have a way forward, if we do not have a way to assist a young girl who has been defiled.
Report a GBV matter to a police station. Police officers on duty will tell you, Madam, love matters. We were not there when you were seducing each other. Go and solve those things back home. Are you sure you want to report your husband? Do you know assault? How this man will be in prison lifetime?
So our next question is from Sharon.
Okay, thank you. My question for Honorable Doris is, what's your take on period shaming? Because us as women, most of us, we don't feel comfortable when we are being shamed because of periods, which is very normal, and we want to feel free because this is how we are created, right? Yes. So what's your take?
Yes, Sharon. On period shaming, I wish this started at home, not even from school, because if parents could understand that they're the primary source of information, your sister, your auntie, we first of all make the conversation from home before it goes to school. What even makes it more complicated is the fact that we even don't have the sanitary pads. If they were in plenty, then that shaming could be something that could have been dealt with. So that is the major gap. But I remember like 4 months ago, we had that incident with the nominated senator. Then some members in parliament were asking, what's wrong with women? You can just make that thing stop, and then you have it at your own time. I was like, Jesus, if you don't wear my shoe, why can't you keep quiet? We have no bell, we have no alarm for periods.
And you know, Meshimiwa, when she brought that up, I actually
Huh?
did want to ask you, what was the reaction on the floor? You
It-
know, the
that
people who
is
purported
normal.
it was
It's
sensationalizing
normal.
it.
It happens.
What was the
Do you know
conversation
you
like?
can have your periods like this week and then you are like, oh, everything is done. Then you change the climate. Pooh, they are there. It's not that you can control your
Yeah.
periods. And then there are those who have light flows and heavy
there are those
flows.
ones who have heavy
It
flows,
happens.
yeah.
In fact, girls should be told if there is anything that you should be proud about is you have your periods. Because if you don't have them, again, you will be like, if I'm not a mother, then definitely I'm pregnant. Periods is just something like a salutation. Good morning, good evening. It's not something that people should think
should
that,
be- it should be
that you
normalized.
should be shameful about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without periods, could you be born?
No,
Then
absolutely not.
there are things that people want to shy away from. Periods and discussing things to do with sex. My God, I wake up in the morning and you bring about sex education. That is where I want to fit in. Currently in Kenya, what are people discussing? Handshake, politics. We have even forgotten to discuss on issues to do with agriculture. Kenya, we are not food sufficient. We can't feed ourselves. We have to rely on food from Uganda and Tanzania because we've made our discussion to be narrowed down to politics.
Yeah.
Come on, let's engage on politics, yes. Let's engage on sex, which I repeat is our second food. And then let's discuss on agriculture. At least with those three things, we are good to go. Now you want women to discuss politics. You've discussed this politics each day.
Yeah.
Look at what the demonstrations did to our youth. Most
Yeah.
of them have died. I've not seen any leader die. We debated this thing before the floor of the House. Yes, I was opposing the bill, but no one died. Why must our youths die? I don't want to divert from what we are discussing, but the issue is when we talk about GBV, those are real things.
Those
Women
are
are
real
beaten.
issues. Yes.
They are beaten and they have nowhere to report.
Yeah.
In fact, your mother-in-law will tell you, why are you feeling sad and your husband was correcting you? What's wrong with you, my daughter-in-law?
If he does not beat you, he does not love you.
Amekutoa ujinga. Yes. What's wrong with you?
Amekutoa
Why are you mad
ujinga.
with Raymond?
Eh.
Raymond was just kutoa ujinga.
Ni kukufunza na
Ni
kufunza.
kukufunza
Unajua
tabia.
yeye ndio mwalimu kwa hiyo
And
nyumba.
then even when women have chamas, they say, if your husband is not beating you, he doesn't love you.
He does not love you.
Come on, women.
And these are the conversations that we should be having. And you know, by the time you're hearing about statistics saying that 83% are the numbers of FGM in Kisii County, those are the conversations that should be had right now. We're talking
These are the
about
conversations
GBV.
today. Let us
These are the
have them
conversations
tomorrow.
that we
As
we
men
should be
maybe
having.
deliberate on politics and other stuff.
Yeah.
We let us concentrate. This is our agenda.
This is our agenda, and I'm
this
so
is our
happy to
agenda.
actually have you on DADA'S show and we are on the same wavelength, because it's shocking when we are looking at the statistics and you're saying 65% of the people in Kisii Referral Hospital are
Teen
giving
mothers.
birth.
They are
Are teen
yeah.
mothers, and yet our attention is deviated. And let's not forget what teen pregnancy does. Of course, it robs the girl of her childhood, but it also robs her of an opportunity to see a life fulfilled.
If you
So
say
it's cut
people
short.
who discourage from discussing contraceptives, they are not women. I can tell you for free. Men will be like, what are you teaching our daughters? Yet when this man impregnates a girl, he will ask the girl, wewe hujui hizo vitu watu wanatumia? Why didn't you use? Then how would you have gotten this
That's food
information?
for thought.
Yeah,
That is
why
food
will
for
you have
thought.
gotten this information if you don't want our teenagers, our girls to be taught about contraceptives?
Yeah.
We are just hiding.
Yeah, we are hiding.
We are hiding behind.
Yeah, and like I always said, it's about time Kenyans we stop adopting the ostrich mentality of sticking our heads in the sand
Mejivalia
and
ngozi ya
thinking that
kondoo.
it's going to be somebody else's problem. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Sharon, I hope your question has been sufficiently answered. Next, our question is from Njoki.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa, what do you think are some of the contributing factors to these animal teenage pregnancies?
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. I come from Kisii County. What I say that contributes more to teen pregnancy is the fact that there are some girls who don't have information or peer pressure. You just want to do it because your friends are doing it. I can't forget to say that FGM, female genital mutilation, contributes because it's our gateway. It's our gate pass to womanhood. So when you go through the cut, your parents will be like, oh, now you are a grown woman, and then they will start engaging in early sex. Those are the major contributors, and of course, even the Bible says fools die because of their ignorance. And when we come to media and the courts, they say ignorance has no defense. So if we make this thing public, we discuss about sex and how to abstain, or if you've already engaged into it, how you should cool down your temperatures and wait for the right time, we can have a productive society.
That is true.
But major is peer pressure.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for that. Njoki, I hope your question has been answered. Our next question is from one Mr. Andera.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. And my question to Mheshimiwa, as it has been noticed that you usually get to Kisii twice in a month. And the whole thing, when we talk about teenage pregnancy, you can't fight it as an individual. Therefore, do you have a team that can even get to the interior part of the Kisii, or that getting to know that those are the most affected areas? Then on the same, like apart from initiating the bill to the Senate, do you have any plans that will cut across to help the fight against the teenage pregnancy across the country?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. As I'm here, I started Donya Charity Mission. What Donya Charity Mission does, we tell our people, hey, look, in your closet, you have so many items that you can give to us so that we can donate to those who don't have. So people started donating clothes, others came in and started giving food stuff. As we speak, I have an hospital, Kanyimbo Hospital, which comes in to treat jiggers, because we found out that most of our people are infected with jiggers. I have the Grand Granite Diaspora Circle from Boston, who are actually supporting in drilling boreholes for our people, catches to Donya Charity Mission. So when we are not having the Donya Charity Mission, we change it to Donya Mashinani. We move from place to place, trying to understand what is eating our people. And when we have these cases of defilement, we rescue the victims, we bring them to our offices, and then we partner with the hospital where the cases can be handled, and of course we report the matter to the police. And how this thing can be translated countrywide with my bill, where we are seeking awareness from the Ministry of Education. This they will be doing on FGM, they do it on GBV, teen pregnancy. So you can be rest assured the teachers at the ground level will have this awareness from the lower cadre to even university level. So this bill is not benefiting the Kisii people. It could not actually come to Parliament. We would have done it at the county level. So having discussed before the floor of the House, that means the people who are going to benefit, it's the whole country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're very excited about this bill. We're very excited about this bill, and of course we'll share the details of this bill on our social media platforms. So Andera, I hope your question has been adequately answered. And finally, we have our final question of this question and answer session is from Camilla.
Thank you, Ashiko, for the opportunity. My question goes to Honorable Doris. What can be done to change the minds or the narrative of the people who are well educated but still believe in traditional practices such as FGM?
Oh, thank you, Camilla. There's a friend of mine who shared a screenshot from the US. When I was there, they were like, Mama County, what are your roles apart from empowering women, youth, people living with disability? I told them, during my free time, I move around creating awareness on FGM, GBV. Then the mzee was like, what's wrong with Donya? Why discuss FGM? We are just we are just cutting the slight part of it. These are people who are in the US. Not even that one who is in South Mugirango in a place called Nyamondo. This is somebody in the US trying to question that why are you so negative about FGM? And for your information, when a man has a wife who has gone through the cut, he will always want to have a partner who is not circumcised. So to men, they have an alternative. That's why they are making noise. That's why they are not thinking properly. But to us ladies, when you already have that scar, it's with you. There is nothing you will do about it. No surgery can be done for that clitoris to sprout, or if there is another term that I can use. So to those who already know that FGM is bad, is because they are talking ill of it. They know they have a plan B. But to us who don't have plan B, we are talking about it so that it cannot continue at the rates that it is now. So when you want to play primitive, there are sharpeners. There are people who tell you, dude, what you are doing is very wrong. We should follow this way.
I mean, I like that, because when we're talking about certain, there are certain traditional practices and which are very harmful. And we've had these discussions on many a time where you talk about, when we talk about tradition, are we talking about pouring the water, the bath water out with the baby, or are we talking about, you know, some things that need to be kept? And in my opinion, part of the practices that really need to be discarded is something like female genital mutilation. You know, we should have the medical fraternity coming up and actually explaining the nitty-gritties. When someone is just talking about it's just a small aspect, it's just a small part, it's just a small this. I believe every single part of our body serves a function.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes and removes something, if you get rid of my ear or something, so I believe there's so much conversation that needs to go into matters female genital mutilation. We need to bring in the experts on board. We need to bring in all the parties involved so that we can have a candid conversation. Is this one of the practices that needs to be written off, or are we pouring the bathwater out with the baby? Of course, we have come to the end of the show, but before we move on, I actually want to give Honorable Doris Donye Aburi an opportunity to give us our parting shot during this episode of Dada's show.
I'm grateful for the opportunity that you've given. I love discussing issues to do with the FGM, teen pregnancy, GBV, what affects us as women, because men have taken a low profile. I've not had a single member of parliament from Kisii or Nyamira, the male ones, discussing about the FGM thing. And then when any of the male come on board, you want to criticize that, oh, why discuss on teen pregnancy, why discuss on sex, as if you have nothing to discuss about. Sex education and comprehensive one, Donya supports. I will keep making noise on FGM because it has no health benefit. Sit me down, tell me what you've gained from circumcising over. Now we will be at 800 million girls from Kisii County. What you've gotten? Nothing. It's only making these the girls lose their you've lowered their self-esteem. They don't even want to raise their eyes up and have a conversation about it because it has been done to them. So I would ask the government, please, through the Ministry of Interior, task the chiefs, let them go deep and fight these vice. We cannot be talking of illicit brew. Our illicit brew in Kisii is FGM. When we talk of bandits, our bandits in Kisii is FGM. You know, when people visit Kisii, it is very calm, green. They even forget that we have problems. Our major problem is GBV, FGM, teen pregnancy, drug use, and now mental health, which is real. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that parting shot. And of course, like I always say, we need to confront some of these hard truths and the realities of what our life as Kenyans are. And we need to address some of these issues with honesty and openness. And that's the only time we'll actually be able to find a lasting solution. Remember, you can always share your thoughts and your opinions on this conversation and any conversation that we have had prior to today. And we always look forward to getting your feedback. Reach us on KBC Channel 1 across all social media platforms and or at Ashiko, the host, across all social media platforms. We look forward to hearing from you. So, of course, on behalf of the production team at KBC, our location partners, Best Western Upper Hill Hotel here in Nairobi, and myself, Ashiko Mbone, and of course, Asante Sana Mheshimiwa for making time to come and sit with us. We thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you same time, same place next week. Have a lovely, lovely week ahead. Bye-bye.